Alright guys, and welcome to my third Pokemon battle. There's me breakdancing there. You wish you could do that, don't you? But no, I suck at dancing in real life, so yeah. Back in my VS recorder, third time in 3 days, trying to upload videos daily, but recording is really slow. And this is a battle against Hunter, who's a really great guy on the Zats chat room. So, I send out my Ferrothorn, and he sends out his Uxie. So, he uses Trick, which gives me his choice specs, and that locks me into one attack, and unfortunately that is Stealth Rock. But at least I do get my rocks up, but I have to switch out into my Jolteon. So he uses Thunder Wave, but Volt Absorb takes that, and my Jolteon uses Shadow Ball. Does less than half, but I do get the special defense lowering thing. But anti-climax, it's of no use since U-turn takes him back to his party and the stat changes are negated, and he sends out his Dragonite. But I don't have much, I can't do much against that using my Jolteon, so I call it back and send out my Ferrothorn again to take whatever attacks it's going to use. And he uses Extreme Speed, trying to outspeed my Jolteon. But it does 50 damage on my Ferrothorn and he gets hit by the Iron Barbs. He calls back Dragonite and sends out his squidgy thing. I don't know what that's called, so I'm not going to try pronouncing it. I use Thunder Wave to get the Paralyze off, and I switch out into my Scizor, going for the U-turn, but he uses Calm Mind. Oh no, I don't, not the U-turn, sorry. He calls back his squidgy thing, but I use Pursuit knowing he was going to switch out. And that takes him onto low yellow health, which is great. So he goes back into his Ferrothorn, and it is hurt by rocks, but is healed by leftovers. So I switch out my Scizor and send out my Politoed to bring out the rain. Yeah, I'm gonna rain on your parade. But yeah, so he used Leech Seed, a move I really hate since I take lots of damage from that, because I hate switching out. And he switches out Ferrothorn and gets out Jelly Scent. And I use Hypnosis, which was meant for the Ferrothorn, but it misses the Jelly Scent, so that was bad for me. So we both heal up with leftovers, and I take damage from Seed, which takes off 50, and he gets back onto full health. I use Hypnosis, and it does hit this time, and he is asleep. And he will be for the rest of the game, to be honest. And I take more damage from Leech Seed. I've taken 150 now. He calls back his Jellicent and sends out his Uxie. And I go for Perish Song. The Perish Song was meant to try and force him out to reset the sleep counter, but he did that anyway, so it was kind of pointless. And Leech Seed again. That's 200 damage. And he uses U-turn, which gets rid of the Perish Song count, and yep, he sends out Jellicent again. So I use Scald, which did like nothing. So that was a great prediction, or yeah, it was probably a prediction. And his Cursed Body disables my Scald, and the only other move I have left is Refresh, so I am not going to use that since I don't have a status, so I'm going to switch out and get rid of that annoying Leech Seed. And I go back into my Jolteon. But he calls back his Jellicent and sends out his Uxie. Fortunately, my Jolteon can outspeed his Uxie, so I use Thunder, and that should have killed him, well, I thought it would have, but he does survive on very low health. He uses U-turn, and I get taken down to 83 health, which is dangerous for Jolteon since almost anything could hit that due to its low defenses. But he sends out his Ferrothorn, and I do use Volt Switch, which does very little, and unfortunately my Jolteon does take damage from the Life Orb. But I do get to call back my Jolteon and send out my Scizor, which takes the Power Whip really nicely. Does 33 damage. So leftovers, he gets recovered, and he calls back his Ferrothorn and sends out his Uxie. And Pointed Stones kill Uxie so I don't lose any stats from superpower, which was meant for the Ferrothorn. But now he sends out his Giant, and since I'm using a choice band, I'm locked into superpower, and fighting attacks do no damage on Ghost. So I send out my Jolteon while the Giant is still asleep. And he calls back his Giant and sends out his Ferrothorn again. And I do go for the Thunder. Shadow Ball, sorry. And yeah, it does like no damage on Ferrothorn, but I do get to lower its special defense. And since Jolteon is on very low health, I thought I may as well just go for it, and I go for the Thunder. Now watch this. This is really weird. He barely lives, and I get the crit. I paralyze it, and he is unable to move due to the paralysis. So I definitely am able to take out that Ferrothorn next turn. So I use Thunder, and that's Ferrothorn out the way. Well done, Jolteon. But Life Orb does kill it, unfortunately, but it's done its work. It's taken out one of their walls. So now, Circumciser, my brother called it that because he thinks it's funny, but it's just stupid to be honest. So he sends out its Dragonite and calls it back after taking damage from Stealth Rocks into its Genesect, which is still asleep. And I use Bullet Punch, which does quite a lot, to be honest, considering he resisted it. And I use it again since I'm locked into it with Choice Band, so I thought I may as well. But Cursed Body disables it, and Genesect is still asleep though, so that's good. And now I'm forced to switch out my my Circumciser thing. Oh god, I don't want to call it that. My Scizor into my Ferrothorn, and his Genesect is still asleep after resetting the timer lots of times. And he calls back his Genesect, and out comes Virizion, which is a grass and fighting type Pokemon. So I use Power Whip, which does decent damage for a Ferrothorn, considering he resisted it as well. So I call it back and send out my Scizor again, going for the U-turn, and he uses Hidden Power. I'm not sure which Hidden Power it is at the moment, but I do find out later on. So he calls back his Virizion and send out his squidgy thing. I'm not going to try pronouncing that. So I did go for the U-turn, and it does hit it, and it kills due to its super effective and stab bonus. So I send out my sexy boy, Heart, my Latios, my favourite Pokemon, second only to Espeon. So his Dragonite takes damage from Stealth Rocks again, and Thunder should kill. It does. And now he sends out his Virizion. He's on two more Pokemon, his Virizion and his asleep Genesect. So I call back my Latios and send out my Scizor, and he uses Hidden Power again. So I'm thinking it must be super effective against Latios, so maybe Ice or Dragon. And he uses Focus Blast on my Scizor, and it's neutral damage since it's weak to Steel, and it's strong against Steel and bug resisted. So Latios again, he calls back his Virizion into his Genesect, and I do just go for the straightforward Thunder. Didn't matter which one it hit, it should have killed any of them. But yeah, Genesect does faint, and out comes Virizion, his last Pokemon. And I do use Thunder, and that does surprisingly little. He survives, and he does use Hidden Power, which is super effective on me and takes me down to half health. So it is either Ice or Dragon, and Life Orb kills it. So guys, thanks for watching. Please go to www.zap.com/bpx. Thanks guys, see ya.